Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
And that breaking news, Sky 5 is live in Harnett County over a police situation. Michelle McConaughey is in the WRAL Live Center with what she's learned in the past 5 minutes.
Plus, school lockdown. For the second time in 24 hours, not one but 2 schools have been placed on lockdown. We're live with what prompted today's action.
And August, it is hard to believe it. With this weather, it's feeling more like a crisp fall day. Temperatures in the 70s. I'll let you know when the humidity will start to go back up, though, coming up.
And right now in the WRAL Live Center, following that breaking news, we are live over a scene in Sanford, the Harnett County Sheriff's Office there right now, working to get more details about why they are there. We actually, just before we came on the air, saw the SWAT vehicle there leave. It looks like the Sheriff's Office is getting ready to leave the scene as well. Details extremely limited, but this is happening Roberts Road off of Buffalo Lakes Road in Sanford. Through Sky 5, we did see a male sitting on the back of a pickup truck, working to get more details on exactly what is going on here. As soon as I have those details, I'll bring them to you from the Live Center.
For the second day in a row, 2 Johnston County schools were placed on lockdown. Hello, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Chris Levinger. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, this time, this is for something that happened off campus. WRAL's Sean Gallagher is at Smithfield-Selma High School. And Sean, what do we know so far since you've been there?
Yeah, Chris, I would say the first thing is that lockdown was lifted after only about 30 minutes. But Smithfield police say out of an abundance of caution, they actually placed 3 schools on a lockdown, 2 of them in the Johnston County School District, the 3rd a charter school. But you can see here behind me, we're outside of Smithfield-Selma High School, where Smithfield police do have 2 vehicles here, but there is not a presence here at all. I can see students eating lunch here, so there's no threat to the schools at this time. That lockdown lifted after just a half an hour. Smithfield police tell us there was a traffic stop at a nearby bank, and a person in that traffic stop ran from police. That's why they had those 3 schools go under lockdown: Smithfield-Selma High School, Smithfield Middle School, and Noose Charter Schools. But at no point were there any dangers within any of those schools, according to police. Now, I have reached out to Smithfield police for more information. We're looking to get some questions answered about the person who ran from them, if they were armed, if they were caught, and what charges they could face. And as soon as we get that information, of course, we'll provide that to our viewers online. But for now in Smithfield, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
New at noon, an emergency meeting today just announced by the North Carolina State Board of Elections. They are planning to discuss what to do with the chairman of the Surry County Elections Board. You see his picture here. He was arrested in Wilmington. WRAL reported last night that James Yoakley is charged with child abuse, drug possession, and other crimes. Police accused him of trying to drug his 2 granddaughters' ice cream with cocaine and ecstasy. Republican State Auditor Dave Bolick chose Yoakley to lead the Elections Board in Surry County. Today, Bolick is now calling for his resignation. Check back in at WRAL.com this afternoon for news from today's emergency state hearing.
We are one day closer to a long weekend. It's another picture-perfect day across the triangle. Looking live let's see, do we have a camera at the show here? The garden at least? No? That's all right. Meteorologist Kat Campbell's here. She's live here in the studio to talk a little bit about what is in store for Labor Day.
And, you know, it's not going to be all that bad. I know you're probably looking at this graphic. You see the raindrop icons, and it kind of bums you out. But I'm here to help. Tomorrow still looks beautiful, 85 degrees the high. Saturday and Sunday, the chance for rain is 30%. Most of that rain is probably going to end up being just south and east of the triangle. It's a couple of spotty showers. It's really no big deal. I would not reroute your outdoor plans for that chance for rain. Just keep your WRAL weather app handy. 80 degrees Sunday. Monday looks good for Labor Day itself, 80 degrees and only a 20% chance for rain. The air will not feel as crisp, though. Starting tomorrow, the humidity goes up a little bit. It's not going to feel like summer humidity, but it's not going to have that crisp feel to it like it does today and it did yesterday. So here's the area we're going to be watching that could bring some rain our way. Most of that dives to the south and stays south of us, but we may see just enough moisture get pushed into our area that we could squeeze out a couple of showers. So you can see this dives to the south. We've got a different front that swings through tomorrow. That one will be a dry frontal passage for us, and it leads to more below normal temperatures. But here's that chance for rain Saturday. Very spotty and mainly in the coastal plain in the eastern part of the state. Just some spotty showers to watch for this weekend. But today it is gorgeous outside. Upper 70s. Durham, Raleigh, and Fayetteville all sitting at 78 degrees at the moment. Garner 74, 76 in Zebulon, 77 Cary, and 78 degrees in Apex. Coming up, we'll have a closer look at temperatures as we head into the evening and after school.
All right, we'll check back in with you in a bit there, Kat. Thank you. Today, so many people are processing the deadly shooting in Minnesota. Children shot, injured, and some even killed during morning mass. And this is a live picture of the North Carolina Legislative Building, where flags will stay lowered until Sunday to honor the victims. NBC's Jay Gray takes us to the mourning community in Minneapolis.
Well, many in this grieving community, frankly, still stunned in shock after what's happened here. Shots ringing out at the Annunciation Catholic Church and School, which is just behind us here. This is the sanctuary where shots rained through a stained glass window and into what was a back-to-school mass. Students pre-kindergarten through 8th grade, along with parishioners inside during the service. 2 of the children, an 8 and 10-year-old, killed, 14 other students, and 3 parishioners wounded when a 23-year-old former student opened fire. Now, we know that of those injured, only a handful remain in the hospital right now, and all expected to make full physical recoveries. Look, this happened just over 24 hours ago during this mass. Students who were in their 3rd day of this new school year and who normally would be focused on new English, history, and math classes, instead forced to scramble, many of them forced into action as heroes as the dozens of bullets ripped apart that back-to-school service.
Well, right when it happened, I dropped down under the pew, like I said, and I prayed. I said my few prayers, and then I realized, like, I can't just sit here and focus on myself, knowing that with God on my side, I would be fine. So I tried to just go and help out my fellow classmates, try to keep them calm and safe and let them know that they'll be okay.
And we are learning more today about the suspect, 23-year-old Robin Westman, again, a former student whose mom may have worked at the school as well. All of that said, we know at this point that investigators not ready to declare any motive in this case. That's something they continue to work toward in what's expected to be a long, very detailed investigation. That's the latest right now from here in Minneapolis. I'm Jay Gray, NBC News.
And as this story develops and investigators try to figure out what would make someone target so many innocent people, we will bring you updates. WRAL.com has a timeline of events, updates on the investigation, as well as how local congregations are offering support. Just search the words Catholic Church shooting.
A man is recovering after police say he was shot at a townhouse complex in Durham. This happened in the 1700 block of TW Alexander Drive just after 9 last night. WRAL's Flynn Snyder is live where the chaotic scene unfolded. Flynn, what more are you learning?
Renee, it is quiet here now, but neighbors describe a tense situation last night that has left many who live here concerned. I spoke with one woman who says it all unfolded here in the front of the complex, just feet from people's doorsteps. She tells me she was out walking her dog last night when she heard several rounds of gunfire. Durham police say officers found a man here who had been shot. He was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Video captured from the scene last night shows a heavy police presence and several evidence markers near a car with officers surrounding that vehicle. Neighbors tell me they also saw a tow truck and another vehicle that were possibly involved in this scene. We have sent several questions to Durham police, working to learn more about what led up to this shooting and what, if any, arrests have been made as a result. In the meantime, though, neighbors left scratching their heads. A woman I just spoke with says that, look, crime can happen anywhere, but something of this nature is rare for this community. Reporting in Durham, Flynn Snyder, WRAL News.
Raleigh police are searching for the person responsible for shooting near Capitol Boulevard. This happened around 5:30 a.m. on Pine Knoll Drive. Officers found a man with a gunshot wound on Graywood Drive. He has non-life-threatening injuries. It's unclear if the shooter and the victim knew each other.
2 years ago today, a student shot and killed a UNC professor on campus. And today, the school will be honoring his memory. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey explains how the university has changed since this tragedy.
Honor here at Cottle Lab where he died. Yin was an associate professor of applied physical sciences. One of his former students shot and killed him on campus 2 years ago today. Since his death, UNC updated its emergency plan. It's made Alert Carolina messages more clear, enforced response training for staff, and put together a threat assessment unit. The university launched an emergency preparedness training for staff back in April. Last year, UNC added a new feature to the Carolina Ready Safety app called I'm OK. It lets people quickly notify their loved ones about their whereabouts during a campus emergency. The university is hosting that memorial dedication this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Chapel Hill.
A Harnett County man faces several charges after a police chase ended in a crash. And that began around 8:30 last night when Irwin police tried to stop a dirt bike near US 421. Police say 29-year-old Elijah Hall refused to stop, and that chase ended at Wilson Street and Rayford Road, and the intersection there. That's when authorities say that Hall crashed into a tree. He tried to run away, but was caught a little bit later. Hall was taken to the hospital in Raleigh, and he is facing several charges, including driving with a revoked license.
We have a traffic alert for drivers in Raleigh. Starting tonight at 7, water crews are expected to begin repairs on the sewer system in the 800 block of New Bern Avenue. Crews will combine the two left-hand travel lanes heading eastbound into the right-hand travel lane. This will help keep crews and drivers safe. Repairs are expected to be complete by 1 a.m. tomorrow. The surrounding water and sewer services should not be interrupted. Taxpayer dime for D.C. deployment. How much it's costing our country daily to mobilize the National Guard to reduce crime in Washington.
Plus, tennis tension toward Townsend. How Taylor Townsend responded to a heated response from a defeated opponent.
And stopping threats before they happen. A look at a tool the FBI using that's so popular, it's being used around the world.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
The daily deployment of the National Guard in Washington, D.C. is costing the country roughly $1 million a day. President Trump mobilized the National Guard despite D.C.'s crime rate being at a 30-year low. National Guard deployments cost the U.S. government $530 per Guard member per day. Because the mission is being funded federally, the money is coming from the departments of the Army and Air Force.
Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook is suing President Donald Trump. The lawsuit was filed this morning, and it marks the beginning of a legal fight that she calls Trump's unprecedented and illegal efforts to remove her from the central bank. Now, Cook is seeking a declaration that her firing is, quote, unlawful and void. The president says the administration believes that she may have made false statements on mortgage applications. Cook has not been charged with any crime, though. The White House terminated the director of the CDC less than a month into her tenure. Dr. Susan Monarez was a Trump appointee and was sworn in July 31st. That makes her tenure the shortest of any in the agency's history. She refused to support changes to U.S. vaccine policies that Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. suggested. 4 other high-ranking CDC leaders resigned.
Taylor Townsend is advancing to the 3rd round of the U.S. Open after her 2nd round match victory ended with a face-to-face squabble. After beating Helena Ostapenko, the players met at the net for a post-match handshake. Well, the players stayed near each other instead of going their separate ways, as usually happens. And video shows the 25th-seeded Ostapenko wagging a finger at Townsend as they spoke. And that's when Townsend says Ostapenko told her she has, quote, no class and no education. Reporters asked Townsend about the tense exchange during the press conference.
I kept in my mind in that moment how I wanted to portray myself and how I wanted to show up. And if my son were to see this interaction, how would he view it? And I think he would be proud of the way that I handled the situation.
This is Townsend's first time reaching the third round in singles at a Grand Slam tournament since 2023.
Today marks the 62nd anniversary of the largest civil rights gathering, the March on Washington. And it was there Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered one of his most iconic speeches.
My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Roughly 250,000 Americans gathered on the National Mall. It was a peaceful effort focused on employment discrimination against blacks, Latinos, and other disenfranchised groups. The March on Washington led to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and that outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin.
Americans have nearly 1 billion reasons to buy a Powerball ticket this week. The lottery game's jackpot now sitting at $950 million after no one correctly matched all 6 numbers Wednesday night. This is now the 6th largest prize in Powerball history. If someone hits the jackpot Saturday night, that player can choose to get 29 yearly payments or a lump sum payment of around $429 million.
I guess that'll do.
I think you could live off of that.
You'd be all right.
Would.
Well, a new school year can mean new stress for students. 5 on Your Side's Ashley Rowe explains what a child psychiatrist says is a very good step to help your child.
Signs that a child is struggling with their mental health aren't always obvious, but there are plenty of strategies to help figure out what's going on and cope. A recent back-to-school event at the Findlay YMCA in Raleigh taught kids how to use breathing to stay calm, identify and describe anxiety, and get more comfortable with doctor's visits. It's part of an effort to help identify and get help faster for kids struggling with mental health. Board-certified child psychiatrist Dr. John Looney spoke at the event and says if parents are concerned about a change in behavior they're seeing, start by talking to their teacher and school counselor.
School counselors, particularly in the first grades, are pretty good about helping knowing what's kind of a normal layer of anxiety or anger, and what is popping up is higher than that. So that's I think the first resource.
Knowing the right questions to ask about children's mental health can be hard. So 5 on Your Side got a group of parents together with a doctor, counselor, and social worker to help guide you. Their conversation tonight on WRAL News. Ashley Rowe, 5 on Your Side. Ford is recalling more than 355,000 of its pickup trucks due to a technical glitch. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the instrument panel display could go blank. That would prevent the driver from seeing information, including speed and warning lights. Ford says no injuries or accidents relating to the issue have been reported. A fix for the issue is available at a Ford dealer or with an over-the-air software update. 9 different Ford models and model years are included in this recall. For more information, you can go to cpsc.gov. Hertz has a way to ease the stress and strain of air travel. The rental car company is bringing out a team of service dogs at select airports. Hertz recently debuted the squad of golden retrievers at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport, where they were a huge hit, greeting flyers on a busy travel day. Called the Gold Squad, the canines are all trained service dogs, and they're accompanied by a trained handler. You can vote on where the pups should show up next on Hertz's Instagram post featuring the dogs. Maybe RDU.
The North Carolina Museum of History is getting a makeover. I want to show you some renderings of what the new facility will look like on Bicentennial Plaza. The new expansion includes more exhibit spaces, classrooms, even a new restaurant. The museum closed last October to make way for renovations, and barring any construction delays, the North Carolina Museum of History is scheduled to reopen to the public in 2028.
A new crime-fighting tool. The SBI unveils a new way of determining the factors that contribute to violence.
In stagnant job market, people across the nation are searching for work, but many say it's slim pickings. Why women may have better luck than men landing a new position. And we do have a look at your winning NCAA Education Lottery numbers. Good luck.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Putting people off the path of violence is the goal of the SBI's Behavioral Threat Assessment Unit, otherwise known as BETA.
The unit and its partners intervene when a person faces certain risk factors. WRAL's Carly Haynes is live outside of the SBI. Carly, this unit developed a tool that's now being used around the world.
And the SBI is the first state agency to develop its own behavioral threat assessment unit. And it now trains other threat assessment units on how to make their own assessments. For example, just yesterday, there was a training with university teams on how to evaluate those concerning behaviors. The SBI uses a tool called NC Bio 25. It's a structural approach to analyzing these risk factors. So that way, it's based on research, not opinions. And the assessment may review a person's mental health, their home life, a history of bullying, and a lot more.
It's really what we want to understand is from their mindset, what's driving that person? What's wrong? What's going on that's wrong in their life that they might think of violence as a way to solve the problems that they're experiencing.
Now, the goal of a threat assessment isn't an arrest. It's about mitigating some of these risk factors and connecting a person with the resources that they may need. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, an update to a story we brought you at the top of the newscast. We have just learned the North Carolina State Board of Elections emergency meeting has been canceled because of this. We've learned that the chairman of the Surry County Elections Board, James Yoakley, resigned. He was arrested in Wilmington on child abuse, drug possession, and other crimes. Police accused him of trying to drug his two granddaughters' ice cream with cocaine and ecstasy. Earlier, State Auditor Dave Bullock did call for his resignation. He issued the following statement here. With his resignation, the Surry County Board of Elections has resigned. They can move forward with the process of appointing a replacement.
Michelle, thanks. Now to an investigation into yesterday's mass shooting at a Minneapolis church. Police have recovered hundreds of pieces of evidence as they are going through in an effort to pin down a motive. Officers say the 23-year-old with no criminal history legally bought the weapons used in the deadly attack. Investigators executed search warrants at 4 locations tied to the shooter and found a series of disturbing videos and written messages filled with hate.
Thankfully, due to the procedures that the school had in place, that the church had in place, after the mass had begun, the doors to the church were locked. So this coward had to fire from outside of the church, through the church windows and into the church.
Elected leaders in Minneapolis say they will push for changes in gun laws in light of the shooting that happened at the church. The story is constantly evolving, and you can rely on WRAL to bring you new information as it's released. Our digital team has a timeline of events, updates on the investigation, as well as how local congregations are offering support. Search Catholic Church shooting.
As the labor market slows to a grind, the number of sectors adding jobs, it's narrowing. So where can job seekers find new opportunities? And one economist says some trends track better for women than men. Here's Karen Kafa.
As the job market slows across multiple sectors, economists note one in particular continues to grow.
Healthcare is an industry where, as the American population gets older, we should expect the demand for healthcare services to increase, and that's why we're seeing jobs growth continue very steadily in that sector.
Government jobs data for July shows healthcare and social assistance accounted for the entirety of the month's overall gains. And Laura Ulrich of the Indeed Hiring Lab says her analysis points to women in the driver's seat in those areas.
Healthcare and social assistance subsector made up almost all the job growth and from the July payroll employment report. And I thought that's got to be a high percentage of female employees. And indeed, it's almost 80% female.
Meanwhile, areas that were hot just a few years ago, like tech and finance, are peeling back. Economists have described the current state of the jobs market as no hire, no fire. Not a lot of layoffs, but employers not confident enough to hire either.
Uncertainty really is the theme for 2025. It's been a big driver driver for why the economy has slowed down over the course of the year, and it is probably the blocker that is going to prevent hiring from picking up through the rest of the year unless some of that uncertainty gets resolved.
Frustrated job seekers should note it's all cyclical.
Job market stagnancy and slow job market growth is going to be temporary. I think the question is, how long does that temporary state exist?
That was Karen Kafer reporting. Economists say college grads are having a hard time breaking into the market because workers are not seeing any positions worth jumping into right now. Some are choosing to stay put, making it more difficult for new college graduates to find a job.
Federal student aid is back on track to return in time for the next academic school year. After recent issues, the Department of Education says students will be able to apply for FAFSA for the 2026-27 academic year in October. Now, during the Biden administration, the FAFSA form was updated for the 2024-25 academic year, but its debut was delayed from October to January. Problems continued for the 2025-26 school year, with the applications rolling out a month late.
Chapel Bill debut. It's about to get real for UNC football, starting the season with not just a new coach, but a new quarterback.
And secret stunt blowback. Why some were not impressed with this skydiving stunt involving a bridge in San Francisco. Our team is working to bring you exclusive stories. For coverage you'll find only on WRAL. Visit WRAL.com and search only. Wake Tech graduates will soon be able to attend William Peace University at a reduced price. Wake Tech President Scott Rawls and William Peace President Lynn Morton signed a new transfer agreement today. Peace Pathways begins this fall. The program guarantees admission into Peace and a big price break for Wake Tech graduates. The admissions fee is waived, so tuition will be set at $10,000 per year for in-person classes and $290 per credit hour for online courses.
Well, the Wolfpack is preparing to square off against the ECU Pirates tonight, and this will be the first time the two schools have seen each other since last year's Military Bowl. You may recall that ended in a brawl on the field. ECU won that game 26-21, but NC State opens up as a favorite tonight, I should say. The game at Carter Finley Stadium kicks off at 7 p.m. And the Duke Blue Devils are facing kind of a similar opponent tonight. The team will be taking on the Elon Phoenix at Wallace Wade Stadium. Duke beat Elon in the opening game last year, 26-3, but can they do it again? The game starts at 7:30, and we will be covering the action before and after the game during our evening newscasts on WRAL.
And the UNC Tar Heels are just days away from its opener against TCU. This will be the first game with new head coach Bill Belichick leading the charge. Belichick announced that South Alabama transfer Gio Lopez will start the season at quarterback. UNC opens up at home on Monday on Labor Day against TCU. Stressful stunt. A legendary skydiver takes the leap, but not everyone was excited about this event.
And crucial conversation. Now's the time to talk to children about stranger danger. How to make sure the lesson sticks.
This school year, students will have to turn off their phones and put them away during class. The rule comes from state lawmakers. Now, school districts need to make sure their policies match. WRAL's Destiny Patterson has been looking into how this could impact your child. Destiny, you dug through school policies to see how many school districts still need to make changes.
Renee, I went through more than 24 district policies over the last month. Every district in our area has a cell phone policy. Most already have rules that explicitly require students to put their phones away during class. This state law requires public schools to establish a policy that prohibits students from using, displaying, or having a wireless communication device turned on during instructional time. And it makes exceptions for certain things like emergencies or teacher permission. One student doesn't believe policies will work unless they're well enforced.
As soon as you say, if your phone's out, we write you up to administration, that is a threat. And that's something that students will carry out and say, okay, they're serious about this.
Minor changes may need to be made to many of them by the time they return from winter break. For some districts, it could mean adjusting language to make it more clear or adding specific exemptions. Tonight on WRAL News at 6, you'll hear about the districts that still have some work to do. And you'll also hear from more students who are preparing to adjust to those changes as well.
All right, thank you, Destiny. As children begin the new school year, now's a good time for parents and guardians to talk with children about stranger danger. But what do you even say? Well, pediatricians say that it's important to not be scary, rather to talk to children about the list of adults that are considered safe. It's also a good idea to practice scenarios to show children how to respond. One key reminder that parents and guardians should stress is that an adult would never need their help with an emergency.
You don't have to be polite to everyone, especially if someone is approaching you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable. That's a hard lesson to learn because we want our children to be polite. We want our children to be able to have appropriate conversations. But if someone is making you feel uncomfortable, you don't owe them that courtesy.
Oh, and caregivers, you should also create a family password or a phrase to use if a stranger claims to know them.
Polite doesn't mean obliging or compliant. No. Yeah. So good message there. Let's get to meteorologist Kat Gamble in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Still some cloudy skies out there, Kat, but eventually we'll see some sunshine, right?
You know, it's not raining at least. That's the good news. Some clouds, no big deal, especially when it keeps temperatures comfortable like this. But we do have some sun peeking between the clouds now in Durham. Enjoying that. It's just puffy clouds. So if you are in one of the cities that's seeing mostly cloudy skies right now, just know that those clouds aren't going to come with rain today. 78 degrees in the Triangle, 73 in Roxborough, 78 for Fayetteville, 79 in Goldsboro. It is a nice day all around. If you're headed out to the games to tailgate today in Durham or in Raleigh, we're going to see temperatures in the lower 80s for tailgating. Just spectacular weather expected. It's partly cloudy and dry. College football is back and football weather is back for us. Low humidity tonight. 78 degrees at kickoff for NC State taking on ECU. Just perfect weather expected. Elon also playing at Duke. It's nice to have the opening games, have all North Carolina teams here. 7 o'clock kickoff is at 7:30, 76 degrees. And by 11 o'clock, 67 degrees there in Durham. UNC taking on TCU on Monday. Should be a good game, 8 o'clock. Temperatures are going to be hovering right around the low 70s at that time. By 11 o'clock, temperatures will be in the mid 60s for the UNC game. Your Labor Day weekend does feature a chance for rain, but I do want to stress it is a small chance for rain. Don't panic that you see the raindrop icons. It's a 30% chance for rain, mainly during the afternoon and mainly along and east of I-95. For Monday, we lowered rain chances to 20% and just a 20% chance on Tuesday. A couple of weak disturbances that'll be moving through the area that could generate some showers, but none of these days do we have anything more concrete like a cold front coming through that would very clearly lift the air and lead to increasing rain chances. What's been so great is the crisp feel to the air, and that is still with us today. Tomorrow, we're going to start to see that go up a little bit. We'll see dew points likely back in the upper 50s to lower 60s through the weekend, so it's tolerable, but it's not going to feel quite as crisp as it has today, and a little bit of a dip again as we get into Labor Day on Monday. High temperatures stay in the low to mid 80s throughout the entirety of our 7-day forecast. No more low temperatures in the 50s, though. We got down to 57 degrees this morning and yesterday morning at RDU. We're going to be back in the low 60s tomorrow morning, even mid 60s Saturday and Sunday morning. So it's not going to be as cool as you wake up this weekend. The small 30% chance for rain both of those days. We have high resolution model data available for Saturday now. We'll have your updated weekend forecast and any changes that we make coming up on WRAL News at 4. I've been looking at the new American model. We may be able to actually lower rain chances during the day Saturday and bump them up a little bit Saturday night.
Oh no, low rain chances? I hate that. Said nobody ever. Thanks, Kat.
High flying act. Why a recent stunt is rubbing some drivers the wrong way.
And we do have a look at your winning Powerball numbers. 9, 12, 22, 41, 61. The Powerball is 25 and the multiplier is 4. No wonder last night. The jackpot for Saturday is now $950 million. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines that we're following today. A Johnson County school entered a lockdown for the second time this week. Smithfield police say they contacted 3 schools in the area because of a nearby chase. Just to be cautious, officers requested 3 schools go into lockdown while they search for the suspect. Smithfield Selma High School, Smithfield Middle School, and Noose Charter Schools. Now, at no point were there any actual dangers within the schools.
The chairman of the Surrey County Elections Board has resigned after his arrest in Wilmington. Police accuse James Yoakley of trying to drug his 2 granddaughters' ice cream with cocaine and ecstasy. The State Board of Elections called an emergency meeting earlier this morning. That meeting has since been canceled.
A man is recovering after police say he was shot at a townhouse complex in Durham, and that happened in the 1700 block of TW Alexander Drive. This was just after 9 o'clock last night. One man was shot and taken to the hospital, but he is expected to be okay. Neighbors say they saw a tow truck and another vehicle involved in that scene, and we have reached out to police about what exactly led up to this shooting.
Former UNC basketball coach Roy Williams is receiving the state's highest civilian honor. He's one of 6 people to receive the North Carolina Award. He won nearly 500 games at UNC. That made him the 2nd winningest coach in school history after Dean Smith. He led the Tar Heels to 3 national championships. Williams is in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame and received the Order of the Longleaf Pine last year.
A skydiving legend pulled off an amazing stunt at the San Francisco Bay Bridge, but not everyone is celebrating that achievement. Sky surfing pioneer Sean McCormick parachuted 5,000 feet from a helicopter using his board to slide down the support cables of the bridge before landing on a floating barge. It took about 18 months of planning with the help of city officials who shut down the bridge twice during that stunt. Some commuters took on social media to complain. Many questioned why they were not notified ahead of time, and I'm not mad at them for being mad. Could you imagine being behind a bus because somebody's skydiving on the bridge?
I'd be a little frustrated. Our pet of the day comes to us from the SPCA of Wake County. Buddy is a 6-year-old neutered male dog. He's a gentle giant at 95 pounds, but he could definitely afford to lose some weight. Buddy is calm, very sweet. He sits when asked, and he loves showing you his toys. He behaves wonderfully for the vet, and yes, he is house trained. He has done well with other dogs and really enjoys playtime. If you'd like to get to know Buddy, contact the SPCA of Wake County.
And all month, we are helping area animals find forever homes during our Clear the Shelters adoption event. There are plenty of animals in need of a forever home at Connie's Kittens. That's in Apex. To learn more about this and other participating shelters, go to WRAL.com/shelters.
The countdown is on. Tonight, NC State takes on the East Carolina Pirates. This afternoon on WRAL News at 4, a look back at the in-state rivalry.
And just a reminder, NBC News Daily is next on WRAL with your next local news update in 30 minutes.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a great day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.